funds.
Acknowledge. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Affirmative.
Unit lost.
Yes, sir. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Unit ready. Building.
Waiting order. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Reporting. Affirmative. Affirmative. Awaiting orders.
Affirmative. Acknowledge. Acknowledge.
Yes, sir. Acknowledge.
Unit lost.
Comrade. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Mission saved.
Acknowledge.
Waiting order.
Affirmative.
Unit lost.
Waiting order.
Affirmative. Affirmative.
Waiting order.
Affirmative. 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 Acknowledge.
Unit ready.
Affirmative. Acknowledge.
Affirmative. Acknowledge. Acknowledge. Affirmative.
Yes, sir.
Affirmative. 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 Acknowledge. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Acknowledge.
Building.
Affirmative. Acknowledge. Reporting. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Waiting order.
Acknowledge. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Affirmative. 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 Acknowledge. Reporting. Acknowledge. Affirmative.
Waiting order.
Affirmative. Acknowledge. Acknowledge. Affirmative.
Unit ready.
Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Yes, sir.
Acknowledge. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Awaiting orders.
Acknowledge. Affirmative.
Yes, sir.
Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Awaiting orders.
Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
Yes, sir.
Silos
Affirmative.
needed. Silos needed.
Reporting.
Affirmative. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Vehicle report. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
Silos
Acknowledged.
needed.
Orders. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. 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 Report. Acknowledged. 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 Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Silos
Affirmative.
needed.
Acknowledged. 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 Vehicle report. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Yes, sir.
Acknowledge. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledge.
Training. Silos
sir.
needed.
Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Unit ready. Training.
Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Unit ready. Training.
Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Unit ready. Training.
Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Unit ready.
Acknowledged.
Training.
Affirmative. Affirmative.
Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Insufficient funds. Unit ready.
Awaiting orders. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Engineering. Affirmative. Reporting. Acknowledged. Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged. Awaiting for acknowledged.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Vehicle reporting.
Acknowledged.
Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Mission accomplished.
And we're done.
You have been busy, comrade. I am to present you with this Soviet star in recognition of your efforts in keeping the Allied dogs from completing development of their new toys. You have done well, my friend. Yet, too well. Soon you will have this drafty corner office, and I will have to start worrying about my own job.
Next level. Situation critical.
Rebellions, revolution, betrayals. Our people, Colonel, are becoming more of a problem than our enemies. Well, there's a mission for you. Make our people love us or die. These papers will instruct you to crush one of our own towns into submission. Put down a faction of our own military that threatens us with biological warfare. To assassinate the spies in our midst. To annihilate an entire province. Men, women, and children who contest our Soviet might. They say, don't tell us what to do. So, we must kill them. This time, comrade, we drink.
Just want to make sure. On the right level. I'll just cut those out if I need to.
Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged. 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 Affirmative. Affirmative. Waiting order.
Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
Naval unit lost. Mission loaded. Battle control terminated.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Acknowledged. Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Mission saved.
Acknowledged. Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Acknowledged.